A very good evening and welcome to this Sunday's edition of Newsfirst Weekend, coming to you live from our Newsfirst studios in Colombo. I'm Arundhati Mudannaik, and let's start off with a look at the stories making headlines this evening.
Lawyers respond to attacks on judges by web mafia and certain media organizations.
Yesterday there was a news item calling the Supreme Court a circus. So if the Supreme Court of this country is called a circus, how does that affect the profession?
Prime Minister meets Eastern Province Chief Minister in Colombo. Severe drought decimates crops. Dry weather conditions continue to feed forest fires. Chinese woman dies after falling off the footboard of a train carriage.
President Maithripala Sirisena and his delegation, who are on a 4-day official visit to Thailand, paid homage at the temple of the Emerald Buddha in Bangkok today. President Sirisena is due to address the Second Asia Cooperation Dialogue tomorrow. Director of the President's Media Division, Dharmashri Bandaranaike, spoke to Newsfirst earlier this evening from Bangkok, Thailand.
The Second Asia Cooperation Dialogue commenced this evening under the patronage of the Thai Prime Minister. Representatives of 34 countries are attending this conference, which can be identified as a conference that showcases the strength of Asia to the world. These state leaders have come together to further strengthen the cooperation between Asian nations, and this is the aim of this conference. Following the opening ceremony, a formal dinner will be held for the state leaders. The main sessions of the conference will commence tomorrow. President Maithripala Sirisena will address the conference tomorrow.
President's Counsel Hemantha Warnakulasuriya says that attacks on judges via web mafia and certain media organizations are escalating. The Sunday edition of the Ceylon Today newspaper quoted Warnakulasuriya as saying that the time is ripe to consider a legislative process to find ways and means to counter this menace.
According to the article, President's Counsel Hemantha Warnakulasuriya says that the web mafia and certain media organizations have now developed into a critical state that they may have the potential to create serious problems in society. The newspaper reports that President's Counsel Hemantha Warnakulasuriya has brought the matter before the Bar Association of Sri Lanka. A number of judges against whom false information has been published have been provided as examples by Warnakulasuriya in this article.
I believe the freedom we are enjoying because of the freedom that have been enunciated, guaranteed by this government, is been eroded by certain web mafia who has vested interests. They want certain judges, certain judgments on how they have been paid. Yesterday there was a news item calling the Supreme Court a circus. So if the Supreme Court of this country is called a circus by the web mafia, and then how does that affect the profession? It affects the profession. The profession has the profession and the litigants, especially the litigants, will lose faith in the system of administration. I must say that I am not made an accusation against the government, against the President or the Prime Minister or any other official in the government. When I made this statement, His Excellency President Maithripala Sirisena telephoned me and asked me what this is about. I told him, this is the information I got. He immediately said, yes, it's a very serious matter. If I receive a complaint, I will do a full investigation into this.
The article also quotes a recent press briefing convened by the Bar Association of Sri Lanka, where the BASL President, Jeffrey Alagaratnam, President's Counsel, said the BASL had come to know of this anti-democratic action and that this attitude of some media creates a capricious and arbitrary situation in the country. The BASL also said it very strongly accepts that people of the country have the right to complain about the wrongdoings of judges.
All right-thinking people must get together and think whether we must permit the web mafia to attack the judges, attack the credibility, call them womanizers, call them thieves, call them rogues, call them bribe takers, and still go before them in search of justice, or that those people must be severely punished. The Supreme Court has all the power to devise a method in which this could be done.
The newspaper quotes BASL President Jeffrey Alagaratnam as saying that the Bar Association never states that all the judges or lawyers are perfect. At this media briefing, the BASL had also requested the media to take the necessary action without acting irresponsibly.
While people living in urban areas are yet to experience the severity of the prevailing drought, for hundreds of thousands of rural Sri Lankans, the situation is dire. Many people are unable to find a drop of water to drink, while farmers are facing a crisis in protecting their crops from the merciless heat. Today we focus our attention on farmland that has been affected by the drought.
People residing in much of rural Sri Lanka are facing 4 major crises at present. These are continuing forest fires, wild elephant incursions, the chronic shortage of drinking water and the destruction of crops in the heat. Farmers engaged in dryland farming in the Nunugambehera and Walawa schemes are facing severe difficulties. Our reporter says that numerous cultivations including mung beans and bananas have already been destroyed.
The people in Hambantota are facing a severe drought situation. Farmers in the Nunugambehera and Walawa schemes can only look on hour by hour, day by day, as their crops, their hard work wilt away and are consumed by the drought.
Farmers say that since they have pawned off most of what they own to cultivate, the destruction of their crops has flung them from the frying pan into the fire. Pepper plantations in Walipotayaya, Kaltota, Batugammana, Hapugahakumbura and Maddekanda in Balangoda have been severely affected by the drought.
Pepper farmers in these areas are suffering as a result of the extreme drought. In this village alone, pepper cultivation spanning an area of close to 200 acres have been decimated in this manner.
The main cash crop in many areas here is tea. Tea bushes in these areas have also lost their luster in the burning heat. Villagers in Batugammana, Hapugahakumbura and Totupalatanna who cultivate tea bushes can only look on in despair as the heat wave claims their hard work.
Farmers in the North Central province are among the major suppliers of vegetables to the dedicated economic centre in Dambulla. I am in the Palagala area in Kakirava. Farmland that have been abandoned by the farmers has become a common sight in these areas.
Vegetable crops in several villages in the Palagala administrative division in Kakirava have been harmed by the drought. Chili, okra, tomatoes, cabbage, no-coal, cucumber and capsicum cultivations have been decimated due to the lack of water, and farmers have abandoned these crops.
Vast areas of forest land have been destroyed by wildfires fueled by the dry weather conditions. While thousands of acres of forest land have already gone up in flames, another forest fire was reported from Habutale today.
The fire erupted in the Beragala mountain in Haputale this afternoon and spread rapidly owing to the dry conditions in the area. Police say that it is difficult to douse the blaze given obstacles in accessing the location. Almost 100 acres had been destroyed as of this evening. The fire erupted in the Rahatankanda area in Buttala this afternoon. Another forest fire erupted in the Mahakanadarawa Reserve in Mihintale this afternoon. The Anuradhapura District Disaster Management Unit says that steps are being taken to douse the flames.
In the recent past, there have been several instances of various pieces of property ranging from land and buildings to bank accounts and cars said to have been owned by members of the previous regime being investigated. Civil societies are of the belief that considering urgent public needs, these properties should be seized and sold, and the proceedings should then be used for public services.
Case pertaining to the land and house on Gangabada Road in Malwana. Accused, former Minister Basil Rajapaksa. Stated value, close to 220 million rupees. Area, 16 acres. People in several areas affected by drought. Estate workers struggle for wages. Protests citing various demands. Civil society activists had this to say on the matter of property for which owners cannot be found. When the property stolen by the thieves during the former regime is brought to court, it is being said that the property does not belong to them. They say themselves that there are no owners for this property. The government has the ability to swiftly seize such property, be it assets, land or vehicles, and add this as wealth to the treasury. Then it can be used to provide relief for the people. A large amount of wealth is being drawn towards projects, but there is no money in the country. This is the accusation. Where is the money? theft is cited as a reason for this. So what sort of punishment should be meted out to the thieves? We can only move forward by recovering the stolen funds. It must be seized. Are we moving towards the same old system? We must think about this. The ruling class must quickly comprehend this and engage in acts which benefit the people.
ජනතාවට ප්‍රතිලාභයන් අත්පත් කර දීමේ ක්‍රියාවක යෙදිය යුතුයි.
ගම්මැද්දේ දිනසියේ සිරස ගමට එන්නේ ගමේ ගැටලු බොහෝ හොඳින් සිරස හඳුනේ ගන්නේ
Yet another project of the Gammat the 100 Days Initiative was declared open today. With the opening of the project, the people of Watamada Thanamalvilla became the proud owners of a multi-purpose community hall.
Gammat the 100-Day Initiative. With the people, for the people.
A sense of festivity gripped the air in the Watamada village in Hambegamu today, which falls under the purview of the Thanamalvilla Divisional Secretariat. Locals in these villages broke into celebration as the newly constructed multipurpose community hall was declared open. The proceedings, which were held under the auspices of News Director at Newsfirst, Rinaz Mohammed, was also attended by staff at Newsfirst and state officials, as well as locals in villages surrounding Watamada. The multipurpose community hall, which was constructed at a cost of 1 million rupees, aims to serve 200 families in the area as a venue for their public affairs. The community hall consists of a children's park, a library, a venue for a maternity and children's clinic, as well as a primary school.
This is certainly not the end. This is just the beginning. Seems like we cannot just leave Watamada, as we have a new task of constructing a bridge to which we have already made arrangements for. During the construction of this bridge, I saw the support given by this village. This is the commitment and support that we need. We have heard that anything can be accomplished if we all unite. I do not have to say anything about the Grama Nildari of Hambegamu. I first invite him to hold a civil security meeting at this community hall. Then I will definitely come to this village and resolve the issues you have. You do not have to come to the police station for your issues. I will come to you. We always thought that it is a government which should serve the people in the village. But through Gammat, we changed this impression. Rather than depending on an administrative system, we can uplift the standards of the village and the entire country if we implement a public-driven system. Was there a place where you can go and speak about your grievances? If so, how many officials would you have to meet? How many letters need to be signed? How many photocopies are needed? Then when will the problem be solved? When will you get a response? See how much time it consumes. We narrowed this process down. We implemented the Gammat the Savia. So now, bring all your issues here.
A book distribution and tree planting campaign was also implemented in line with the Gammat the 100-Day Initiative. At the end of the day's proceedings, members of the Gammat the Savia organization and Newsfirst took part in a friendly game of volleyball.
දැන් කාලයක් තිස්සේ තිබිච්ච එක හින්දා ඉතින් අපිට ගොඩක්ම සතුටුයි මේ දින 100 ඇතුළත මේ වැඩ නිමා කරගන්න වෙච්ච එක.
අද දවසේ ඉතින් හොඳයි අද ප්‍රජාශාලාව විවෘත කරපු එක ඉතින් අපිට සන්තෝෂයි. සිරස ළඟම නෑ යා කියලා දැනගෙන හිටියේ විතරයි. අද ඒක ඔප්පු කරලා පෙන්නුවා ක්‍රියාවෙන්ම.
The Gammat the 100-Day Initiative. With the people, for the people.
Residents of 6 villages, including Punawinna and Kadapala, who face many hardships due to the absence of a bridge to travel across the Maduroya, expressed their grievances to the Gammat the 100 Days Initiative today.
Locals of several villages which fall under the purview of the Ridhi Mali at the Divisional Secretariat have been compelled for many years to use a small bridge between the Ekirian village and Kalugahakole village. However, even though the relevant authorities were informed of their requirement, the plea had fallen on deaf ears.
හැම ඡන්ද කාලෙකම ඡන්ද මේ මන්ත්‍රීලා අමතිලා මේ කියනවා අරක දෙන්න මේ දෙන්න කියලා මේක හදන කියලා කවදාවත් මේක හැදුවේ නැහැ බුදු මහත්තයෝ මහත්තයලා මේ බලලා අපිට මේක අනිවාර්යෙන් මේක පාලම හදන්න කියලා අපි මුතුන් ඉල්ලා සිටින්නේ මේ තාම මේ විදිහටම තමයි තිබුණේ.
This bridge has always been like this. Even today, the bridge is still in its state. The Sri Lanka government initiative will be blessed if you could provide us with a bridge just so that a three-wheeler can come into our village. Since the Sri Lanka government, the program is going from door to door, we request very kindly that a bridge be provided to us and this village.
Politicians shared their thoughts today about the public rally held by the joint opposition in Ratnapura yesterday.
Attention was focused at this meeting on problems faced by teachers serving in the Eastern Province. The Chief Minister of the Eastern Province highlighted to the Prime Minister that only 392 persons were chosen for 1,134 available vacancies in the mathematics, science and English subjects. A statement issued by Chief Minister Nazir Ahmed says that he believes that Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe will take measures to fill the remaining vacancies.
The attention of the Government Secretariat was immediately drawn towards the issue in Kadapala, and a Government team has been dispatched to meet with the villagers tomorrow and inquire into their needs. Moving on, a discussion was held today between Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe and the Chief Ministers of the Eastern Province Nazir Ahmed with regard to presenting teaching appointment to persons who have completed courses in education faculties. A young Chinese woman visiting Sri Lanka died after falling off the footboard of a train carriage at the Madambagama railway station in Ambalanguda this morning.
Police said that the foreign national who was travelling on the footboard of a carriage on the express train plying from Galle to Colombo died after she fell off the train onto the platform.
She was sitting on the footboard with her legs out of the train. Her legs hit the platform and she was dragged around 20 meters, after which she fell under. I then tried to stop the train, but I couldn't at first because she was somewhere in the middle, so I did not know.
The deceased Chinese national was aged 25. Our correspondent said that another woman had been travelling with her in the train and they were scheduled to return to China tonight. The body of the deceased was taken to the Balapitiya hospital following the magisterial inquest, which was conducted by the acting magistrate of Balapitiya.
In another tragedy, 2 Sri Lankan girls drowned last evening in a spring in Salalah, Oman, while attempting to snap a selfie. Foreign media reported that the girls who were on a family picnic were posing for a picture near the Iron Jarise's water spring, a tourist hotspot in Salalah, when one of them slipped. The 2 girls have been identified as Zainab Tharushayed and Ruan Delsara Herat Samaravira. Poaching and loss of habitat have caused tuskers to become an increasingly rare sight in Sri Lanka's jungles. Last evening, wildlife officials had to treat a tusker with a unique condition.
The Galgamua tusker has earned the name Dalaputtua because of the entanglement of its tusks. The tusker, which usually roams around the jungles of Galgamua, makes an annual migration to the Kalawawa via Kakirawa. Last year, wildlife officers had to treat the tusker for a gunshot wound on one of its legs. With reports emerging from sightings that the leg had become infected, officers from the Galkiriagama Wildlife Office prepared to treat the animal. Following an operation which lasted several days, the tusker was located on the shore of the Siambalandua Reservoir, about 35 kilometers from Galgamua. A team led by veterinarian Chandran Jayasinghe treated the tusker last evening. The risk taken by wildlife officers in attempting to treat wounded elephants is made evident by these scenes.
The 19th Inter-House Sports Meet of Gateway College, Colombo was held at the Sports Ministry grounds in Colombo today.
Captain of the Sri Lanka cricket team, Angelo Mathews, was the chief guest at the event. The event consisted of a colourful drill display and a march past by the students. Athletes who excelled in events at the meet were presented with awards.
Sports in Gateway, dear children, you know the kind of emphasis we have in sports. This will continue. This we want to develop further. And next year, our dream is to even create a mini sports academy within the school, because there are so many kids who are doing very well, reaching not only school level but national and international levels, and we will make sure that we will give you the maximum possible encouragement.
In the past 8 years, we've got to 4 World Cup finals, and we lost 3 of them. And it was very disappointing. We thought we could never win a World Cup. Day in, day out, we trained extremely hard. We didn't give up. We pushed ourselves. Came 2014, we kept believing. Even though we were disheartened, we kept pushing. And eventually we won a World Cup. Sports has taught me not to give up and keep working hard. We all want to win. We all compete to win. But you got to take a win as well as losing in a positive way. That is true sportsmanship.
The revolution is not an apple that falls when it is ripe. You have to make it fall. Ernesto Che Guevara.
Christa Markwalder, the President of the National Council of Switzerland, the equivalent of a Speaker of Parliament, visited Kandy today.
The visiting Swiss dignitary paid homage to the sacred tooth relic. The President of the National Council of Switzerland also called on the chief prelates of the Malwata and Askari chapters of the Siam sect. Speaking to the media following the visit, Markwalder had this to say.
We had a lot of discussions about the constitutional process, but also about the reconciliation process and about dealing with the past. Personally, I am convinced that this constitutional reform is crucial for the future of the country, and the ongoing discussions are also very important to listen to the different groups of the civil society, to include them into the process, and then also finally to have the legitimation by a referendum. Well, Switzerland has already good economic ties, but still with room of improvement, both for investments, but we are also very much engaged in development cooperation, including also the developing the economy of Sri Lanka.
Residents of 6 villages, including Punawin and Kadapalla, who face many hardships due to the absence of a bridge to travel across the Maduroya, expressed their grievances to the Gammadda 100-day initiative. Now, the attention of the Gammadda Secretariat was immediately drawn towards this issue. A Gammadda team has been dispatched to meet with the villagers tomorrow and inquire into their needs. And with that, we wrap up tonight's edition of Weekend Primetime News. Thank you very much for joining us. Good night.